there, my name is Adele and I'm the founder of Naked Divorce. The Naked Divorce bases its healing techniques on a principle that we call Perturbation Therapy. Now, we use 42 different therapeutic techniques and technologies within our programs, but what ties everything together is what we like to call perturbation. Now, the original concept of perturbation was developed by a Nobel Prize-winning scientist named Ilya Prigogine. So the idea is that, you develop this concept that you have entropy that happens when you create transformation inside an environment where there's no containment. Now, what we mean by that is that if you are going through something, containment is really critical to ensure that you get the result that you want. Otherwise, things can just go really, really chaotic. So by creating a very solid and strong foundation and container and having a supportive environment to contain your transformation, things kind of go the way you want it to go. But if you don't have that container and stabilization, you can kind of go chaotic and go into chaos. So think of it like a piece of coal becoming a diamond. Coal actually needs two things to become a diamond. It needs a strong container holding it together, and it needs a lot of pressure that is applied to it. So if coal is compressed inside that container, it can actually leapfrog through its different stages of, transformation and go straight into the most advanced step of carbon, which is a diamond. But if it doesn't have that container, it can scatter into dust like graphite. So no container, that leads to entropy and disintegration. But containment held together means that whatever that organism is, it can actually withstand the pressure that it's getting, and it takes on the actual nature of the pressure that has been applied to it and transforms into a diamond. So if you liken this to human transformation, in my opinion, the primary reason psychotherapy doesn't do as well in trauma-related situations is the lack of containment, the lack of looking at somebody as a whole human and actually just talking to them for an hour once a week, and then what happens the rest of the time, we don't know. That approach really, I don't think works particularly well when you're going through something like trauma. So if you go into a therapist and they just plunge in and go, how are you doing and what's happening? That's quite dangerous actually, because you can end up disintegrating even more or getting disheartened by the lack of progress, and then eventually just your life getting more chaotic. What's critical in the processing of trauma is that real containment and the joined up approach in treating people as a whole human inside that container. That means that in Naked Divorce, we have many, many different parts that create this container. And all of our programs work in that way. We have strong context. Strong context are the rules, the structure, the steps, the daily checklist, the routines, the declarations. There's all these things that you're going to do every single day that ground people and hold them together through the trauma that they're experiencing. That context and container is really decisive. The next thing that contains people and creates that kind of structure is what we call a really strong and connected therapeutic relationship. That therapeutic relationship is not once a week for an hour. It is around the clock, in the trenches, with them, in their life, all the time. So we have a way and a mechanism that our team is available for people to contain them in between sessions. That's also a really important aspect of the perturbation technique. We also practice something called co-regulation. So that means we have techniques and abilities to remain very emotionally regulated. So within our own autonomic nervous systems, we are chilled. We are not activated while you're going through your kind of therapeutic process. That lessens the activation of stress within our clients, and eventually they begin to mirror our approach. And that approach works whether it's just with voice and body language or even in person, but we don't have to be in person. Remotely, we've had exactly the same results. The next thing that is critical in our container is self-compassion. Because divorce and many of the traumas that we work in are shame-based, failure-related traumas, we help people melt that shame with real self-compassion and empathy. And we teach people the techniques for self-compassion and empathy. Ultimately, we don't believe that anyone is broken or weak or damaged. We teach people that their coping mechanisms are simply over-adapted to the painful past learnings that they've had, and that causes them to perceive threats and remain hypervigilant or behave outside of their best selves. But by normalizing this experience, people kind of naturally want to move on, and they want to live closer to their best selves, their intentional selves, rather than just living reactively. The other thing that is important in our Naked Divorce container is we teach. We don't just sit there and chat. We are teaching skills. We are teaching there's a lot of psychoeducation, there's a lot of teaching and skill development that we work on. So we teach clients to regulate their emotions. And, inside that kind of self-regulation approach that we have, people know how to produce a relaxation. And I'm not talking about meditation. I'm not talking about dissociating out of your reality to go and do something over here. It's daily, hourly, chilled, relaxed, muscle body all the time. Okay, we have a specific approach to teach people how to do that. We focus very heavily on stabilizing. So you develop the skills to stabilize yourself in any given moment. We teach people to manage their triggers and processing the trauma in a very holistic way. So we look at everything to do with your life, your diet, your routines, what you do in certain situations, what are all the different things that trigger you. And that forensic detail and that container that we provide is really what makes our programs pretty brilliant. Very much leadership based. We project manage everything. We're looking forensically at all these different things and work with you on a transparent process to manage your trauma proactively versus reactively. So you become more intentional and you become closer to who you really want to be. And ultimately that empowers our clients. We don't want to have clients, stuck in therapy for 3 years. We run programs to empower people to go back into their lives so that the trauma that they've experienced is just a chapter in their book as opposed to the thing that now defines their life. So if you want to find out a little bit more about how our programs can make a difference to your situation, book a clarity call with myself or my team, and we can, review your specific thing that you're going through and to give you some ideas and techniques and suggestions. And if one of our programs or a particular vehicle that can help you get to where you want to be, we're very delighted to welcome you into the Naked Divorce family. So get in touch with us, and we hope to hear from you soon.